passionate, like all us Greeks.
Now you're angry. Look, you're punching the cat right now.
Oh, I am. Oh my God, you're right. I'm a rageaholic. I just can't live without rage.
Let's roll. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the patrons, and everybody else in between as we pick up the pieces following a mini rage in Toronto, Ontario. We appreciate everyone who came out on Saturday night. A good time was had by all. Some good times. It's always rough whenever we do like the second of back-to-back nights. I was a little bit worn out after Friday night, but I should have got into the vodka a little bit earlier on Saturday. I was drinking beer for the most part, and beer will get me buzzed and stuff, but beer doesn't really like fuck me up. It can fuck me up if I drink a million of them. I've gotten drunk on beer before, but for the most part, beer, I sort of hit a wall. I was like, all right, that's enough beer. I better get into the vodka and step it up a bit. So, good times. Good times on Saturday night. Real funny stuff in the late night hours. Although, one by one, everybody had a pretty ungraceful exit from the place. Except me and Hainzer, actually. Hainzer was pretty together for the entire weekend, and Hainzer was a very gracious host to us. We ended up hanging out with Hainzer in the late night hours. But it was fucking hilarious on Saturday, one by one, watching people leave. And like nobody left like in a good way. Cam's heading for the door, and the waitress like makes a fucking beeline across the room. Hey. Cam's on his way out. He's like, are we good? We're good, right? She's like, no, we're not good. She's like, no, we're not good. He's like, oh, hey, sorry. He's like, I thought Sean will handle it. She's like, he didn't handle all of it. Then Cam's all mad after that he's getting hustled somehow. Fucking Babano gets into the peach snaps. And Babano was pretty quiet for most of the night, but right at the end, he started to get pretty drunk and shit. Fucking Babano puts on like 82 fucking songs. Some of them are good. Some of them are terrible and shit. Like he literally fed like fucking $20 or something into that fuck. He was standing there for like an hour. Where like his music was playing like when they were kicking us out. Like he still had music in there. Yeah, Babano's ordering drinks, and I order a double vodka at like last call. And I was even being mellow. I'm like, I'll order a fucking double vodka here. Fuck. So I'm like, yeah, give me one more double. Fucking Babano like knocks it off the table. I'm like, oh, dude, fuck. Like I just ordered this. I didn't even take a sip of it yet. It was like on the table. Bam, he knocks it over. And then he denies knocking it over. He goes, I didn't knock it over. And there was like 3 witnesses. Everyone's like, yeah, you just knocked it over, dude. You knocked it over. He's like, Morency knocked it over. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here. I didn't knock it over, fuck. And so he knocks the drink over. And then he makes it like he runs to the door. I gotta go. And he runs out. There's fucking the drinks everywhere on the floor. Like fucking, like no attempt to like, hey, listen, I'll get you a new drink, or even, hey, oh, we better clean this up. No, fuck. There's fucking drink and ice everywhere, like right on our feet. And he doesn't really even say anything. He just sort of puts his tongue up and like he runs off like he committed a crime. He's like, I got to get an Uber. And he fucking runs out of the door and shit. Our boy Kevin, great guy Kevin, but he was all lit up at the end. We're like, listen, can you just order an Uber for us? It's like, I literally smoked 2 spliffs. Like I'm standing there smoking a spliff and whatever. I'm not going to bitch and shit. You know what I mean? Everyone's having a good time and stuff. You know, so I'm like, well, this is taking a little while. I'm like, whatever, fuck. I'll roll another one. And finally after, like, we realized fucking Hanger's like, all right, fuck this. And I realized we've been standing there for like 30 minutes. Like, he's blaming Uber and shit. And then finally we're like, all right, we'll take a fucking taxi. Hanger gets into it with the taxi driver, you know. You remember Brooks? I'm getting mad. How much fucking is it? Like at some point, it was like, all right, you know. And then we get back to Hanger's. Hanger's not like, I've seen Hanger much more drunk. You know what I mean? Like me and Hanger weren't, like we were more wasted on the Friday night. Like on Saturday I was drunk, but I wasn't like, you know. But fucking Hanger, man, like his fucking place, dude. Like he's got this driveway and he's in the back entrance, all right? It's like a house and shit, but like he's in the back entrance in like the basement. So it's literally a skating rink. Like, no exaggeration. Like, I asked Hanger, I said, like, listen, I'm not the biggest, like, home fucking, you know, I'm not the biggest, like, maintenance man in my life, but even me, like I said to him, I'm like, dude, like, he's like, hey, watch out. There's a little icy. It's like a little icy. It's literally like a skating rink. Like, there's no, like, it's not puddles. It's just like a sheet of ice and shit. And I'm like, dude, like, why don't you fucking put salt on this, man? He's like, well, we haven't gotten around to it. So, like, we're walking all slow and shit all the time on this ice. And I'm pretty good on ice. I'm used to it. I'm from Montreal. So I was all right. But I was sort of like taking baby steps. And fucking Hanger. Well, on Saturday night, we get back to his place. Like, he averted disaster, man. Like, I was behind him, and I saw him, like, whoa, like, he fucking slipped, but he saved himself. And we get inside his place, and he leans over to, like, put the fucking, like, TV on, share the computer on the TV type thing, like YouTube. And he leans in, like, to the TV stand, sort of, somehow. And his knee just goes right through the side of it. Fuck. Bam. Like the fucking TV like slides off sideways and shit. Hanger's like on his fucking floor. It's kind of dark and shit, man. Like I was actually crying. I was laughing so hard. Like I told him, I said, dude, you got to put like newspaper underneath your table now to even it out. Like his TV's all like this. It's like sideways. Like he didn't snap it in the middle. Like he broke like one side of it. So the TV like fucking totally like slid like a roller coaster, except it didn't fall off. It was like everything's sort of slanted and sideways now. And it was pretty much at that point I told Hanger, I was like, yeah, you know, I said, you should just turn the lights off. Let's just go to sleep. Like fucking. Like at that point, I was like, all right, like nothing good is going to come from any of this anymore. So of course, we wake up Sunday. I got to get out of there, and there's the fucking ice and shit, and it's fucking windy as fuck. So I'm like walking down the street in Toronto, like the like fucking. You know what I mean? But it's like struggling to walk, like the wind's blowing against me and stuff. I lit up a spliff, man. It fucking like basically blew away in like 2 seconds. What's up, Spencer? That's great seeing you on Saturday night. But all things, you know, all things considering, it could have been worse yesterday. As in, my flight wasn't canceled. It really wasn't even all that delayed that much when it was all said and done. You know, we left like fucking basically, 25 minutes later or something. And we even boarded on time, to be honest. Caught me off guard, actually. I was convinced it'd be like way late and shit. But I got to tell you, like, Porter is a fucking, like, it's a whacked out airline, man. They don't even announce anything. Like, honestly, they didn't announce anything. Like, I had to look and see. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, the plane's boarding. Like, they don't announce anything. They don't tell you anything. Like, there was no announcements. Like, people were, like, fucking stuck there. It's very, very unorganized, Porter. And, you know, Porter used to be a very good airline. I used to love it. Once you're on the plane, Porter's good. Once you're on the plane, Porter is good. But they have a problem getting you on the plane. And they're greedy as fuck now. Like I said, like Porter, like I remember 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it was a great airline, man. It was cheap. They give you free booze on the plane. Most airlines, no one gives you free booze anymore, right? Porter will give you free food and booze, well, snacks and shit for free. They come around with chips and nuts or whatever you want, which used to be standard, but now it's not. But they fucking gouge you for the ticket. They gouge you for baggage. The chick charged me fucking $46, all right? Plus tax for this fucking, for a carry-on bag, man. Like, I was going to fucking lose it. Like, really. I didn't get charged on the way there. It's hit or miss whether they're going to hit you with it or not. So the thing is, it was like, it was 46 or 41 or whatever. And I had $44 on the card. She wouldn't fucking negotiate. Like, it's just, they're just rude. Like, you know, they're basically just, and I was fucking hell. Like, the worst part was in New Jersey, fuck. Like, that fucking airport in Newark, man. Like, same fucking shit, man. It's just fucking, people are the most unhelpful. Like, everything's just fucking a pain in the ass, man. Like, I get back to Newark last night, and I'm just fucking, now I'm beaten down, fuck. You know, I was at the airport all day and shit. It's a long weekend, fucking partying. I'm in the fucking airport in Newark, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take an Uber. Same bullshit. I take an Uber, and then Uber starts acting all weird and shit. It just like the driver kept on perpetually saying 4 minutes away, 4 minutes away, 4 minutes away. And I'm standing there for like 25 minutes. And finally, I fucking snapped, man. I'm like, fuck this shit. And I didn't have any bud here at all, but I did in my jacket in Manhattan at the studio. So I was like, all right, fuck this, fuck. I'm going to fucking reverse my plan here, fuck. I'm going to take the fucking train. I'm going to take the train from the airport into the city. This, you know, they claim it's 21 minutes. They're not, they're lying. It's not. Like, I don't know how, like, why they say it's 21 minutes. It's fucking not 21 minutes. First off, it's like 27 minutes. And it's 27 minutes to get to the fucking, to a little transfer SkyTrain bullshit. And then you stop at P4, P5, fucking Terminal A, Terminal B, Terminal, like, it's the slowest motherfucking thing ever, man. I don't know, like, New York City, dude, like, the transportation here is third fucking world. It really fucking is. Like, it's fucked up. You go to a football game, it takes you 3 fucking hours on a train. You know, you try to get to the fucking airport, man. Like, everything's a fucking production. They fucking charge you for, like, the shuttle train, too. I've never seen that, fuck. Like, New Jersey's the only people that'll charge you for that. You know what I mean? So, like, you take the train, you pay $13, and it tells you, oh, 21 minutes to the airport. It's not. It's like 27 minutes, but you really get to this sort of terminal place where then you need to pay another fucking $4.50 to take a fucking, like, one of those little SkyTrain fucking shuttles that takes for fucking another 20 fucking minutes. It's bullshit, fuck. It takes like 47 fucking minutes. Like I've taken that train out a few times and I didn't really mind it. I've never like taken the train there and like counting on taking a fucking plane and shit. Like it was a fucking bitch, man. All right, Oklahoma's getting tattooed. And then, so yeah, like I said, my Uber never shows up. Fuck. I don't even know how to cancel it. I'm fucking looking. I'm trying to look at everything in Uber. I'm like, fuck this. I'm sending a guy messages. It says send a message. I'm like, dude, fuck. I've been here 20 minutes. Like, no response. And, it even has a phone number and shit, but he doesn't answer. So finally, I'm like, fuck this shit. Fuck. So I fucking split. Of course, as I'm getting on the train, my phone starts going off. Your Uber is here. I'm like, guys, it's fucking been 40 minutes. Fuck. Like basically, like I was stuck in a Newark airport forever. I didn't have change. I couldn't buy anything. No one would give me change. It was one of those like I'm about to snap for real moments. I don't mind, like, that's the thing with traveling though, you're gonna put up with some bullshit along the way. But you got to get off the couch and get out there sometimes. I'm glad I did. We had a good time. I don't feel like doing anything for a long time right now, but we got to get this homicide shit done. And as much as it pains me, what's up, Riggs? As much as it fucking pains me, Brian is right. We got to touch up a few things. If we're going to do it, there's the last few things. He is right. It's only going to take a couple hours, but it's going to take a whole fucking trip again. But when I'm all business and I go to Toronto, it's pretty good. There's no road rage or anything. I don't get all fucked up. I'll roll into Toronto. Like I'll leave on a Saturday morning. I'll roll in. I'll go right to the studio. I'll knock this shit off. I'll go out, have a couple of drinks Saturday night and split on a Sunday. I'm much better at not freaking out, Ty Rich. I used to really get fucking angry in airports and spaz out and shit. Now I'll get upset at the end of the trip. Sort of a lot of times it'll be like, all right, I can't take any more of this crap. Yeah, we got March Madness in Atlantic City for a couple of days. So yeah, Cam says he's going to come down. Now's not the best time to ask him. He's still recovering from the weekend, and I give him credit. Actually, I didn't even think he was going to come Saturday. Listen, I've worked in some tough spots, but there's no way in hell I would have been able to do those shows at 9 in the morning. Like the next day. Cam was on at 11. Even that would be difficult. Although I've done the 11 thing. 11's a little better than 9. But yeah, now's not the time to talk to Cam about the trip. Oh, I don't know, man. I'm fucking broke. And he's going to bitch, right? Even me, Riggs, after these trips, I'm like, I'm not doing anything for a long time. And then after, I'm like, oh yeah, a week or two later. No, Cam and his girlfriend are all right. She doesn't always go out, Although I think she'll come to Atlantic City. She's going to come to, I'm pretty sure she's going to come to Atlantic City, actually. Which will make things a little bit more interesting. Listen, Cam's girlfriend is really, really cool. She's like, you know, she's like a lot of rageaholics, sort of. Like, she's really cool, but you got to, you know, my advice is, like, you get away, like, right before, like, you know, 1 a.m. Like, there's a turning point. You know, there's that fucking TSN turning point moment of the night all the time. Like, shit changes. Listen, I've been there. You know, people are like, have said the same thing to me. They're like, yeah, I always know with you to get away. I can tell when you're starting to change a bit. Like, it's funny, like, my boy T-Bone's like that. T-Bone's like the calmest dude and shit. Like, you know, you'll hang out with T-Bone in Vegas. There'll be a bunch of people. Everyone's getting wasted, and T-Bone really isn't. You know what I mean? He's sort of mellow. He's smoking fucking, you know, he's smoking spliffs and shit. But T-Bone's more of a late night guy, right? So you can tell, like, T-Bone's more like the 4 a.m. type of dude where shit will start to get crooked. Yeah, listen, we've never been to Atlantic City, so, you know, we figure March Madness would be a good time. I like the casino aspect of it too, right? Mix it up a little bit. You know, we'll mix it up a little bit. You know, FanDuel Sportsbook is fun, but, you know, it's good to have the casinos in play as well. That's why Cam is down. Mix a piece of work, fuck. You know, I was talking with Rockamaniac, and, you know, we got to induct Rockamaniac into the Hall of Fame. We're a little behind our Hall of Fame. It's actually been over, you know, it's been a little while. You know, it's supposed to be every January. Here we are in February. But when I was talking with Rockamaniac. We realized we haven't been in Montreal in 3 years. It's actually been there's been 3 anniversary shows. It was 4 anniversary shows ago, 2015. Which I find it hard to believe, actually. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. It's amazing how time passes. So we're, you know, that's definitely on the radar. That's definitely going to be on the radar for a future Rage. Montreal, though, we got to wait till it's summer. Now, I was hoping, you know, for like, you know, the fucking Expos, an announcement, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, even like a press conference. Hey, we got a team coming in 2 years. You know what I mean? Then I go to Montreal and, hey, what's up? But that never came. The Canadians haven't really been good the last couple of years. There hasn't really been a Montreal Canadian playoff run. Timing has always been bad. F1 week in Montreal is fucking epic. But that's also very expensive. Yeah, even the Alouettes and stuff. That would be cool. Like Montreal is a fun city to spend a weekend in. Johnny Manziel is the quarterback of the Alouettes again. We'll see if he can be any better this year. We'll see if the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. Canadiens in the playoffs are always expensive too, but Montreal's just a cool city to go to. So, and plus my hometown. I haven't been there in a while. I always feel as though we really don't have that many fans left in Montreal, which isn't really fully true, but I was very local centric when I was there. And Montrealers are very local centric, but I was very surprised. Like, you know, when we went back for the anniversary show, it was the 15th anniversary. When we went back for the anniversary show, there were a lot of people that I never met before and stuff. There were a lot of people I never met before that I was surprised about, you know, like a new generation and stuff. So we should get back there. I'm on good terms with that radio station there and stuff, so they'll promote it if I went back again. So yeah, we're gonna do something in Montreal in the future. Like I said, I'll check out Montreal. Kyle asking, yeah, it'll be the first weekend of March Madness. When are you gonna get there, Riggs? Like, I could probably get there Friday afternoon. I could get there like Friday afternoon. You know, Friday, yeah, you know, I don't know how long it'll take me to get out there. I guess I got to take the train. Yeah, I won't be. I'll get there Friday. I'll get there Friday. You know, bet the games Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then split Sunday. I'll get my Thursday action in over at the FanDuel Sportsbook earlier in the week. Yes, that's not bad. Look, if I ended the morning show, I end the morning show at noon. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, Riggs. Maybe I could pull that off for the tournament. Last year, we actually took the days off, to be honest, because remember we were in Vegas, and we didn't do the afternoon show. Look, the thing is, like, the games are going on at the time, right? Yeah, I'm not fully in control of these things, Riggs, as you know. So we'll have to play it out and see how it plays out. But all right, so it's 34-27 at the half for the Kansas Jayhawks. The total is a little off the pace right now, as the total is closed at 135. In-game is 132.5 right now. I'm a little frustrated. Man, I fucking knew that the fucking LA Kings would be the play tonight. The Lightning were minus 390. If you listen to Game Time Decision, I said, man, there's some parlay busters in here. Like, even I stayed away from this, and I'm a pretty public hockey parlay guy, but even I knew there were traps on the board here. They don't have it yet, but at plus 390, you're in a pretty, or minus 390, you're in a decent spot. But man, I got screwed tonight, man. I don't like bitching about these like regular season beats, but fuck, this is a bad beat. I had over 233 points in the Warriors and the Hornets game. They get to 232. I have the fucking Charlotte Hornets +9. They lose by 11. So I lose 2 bets by a combined 3 points in the same game. And what's really brutal about this is they were at like 227 with like fucking a minute and a half left, man. Like there's no way they should have stayed under. Like they didn't score for like the last 25 seconds or something. It was just brutal. Here, when was the last basket? Oh my God. 58 seconds. They didn't score in the last minute. Like you know what I mean? Like I looked at the score and I'm like, oh fuck, I only need 5 whatever. And like a minute and a half, I was like, oh, we're good for the total. Like, it was sailing over. And I hit refresh and I'm like, what the fuck? 121, 110. Are you shitting me? Like it's almost impossible this game stayed under, but of course it did somehow by 1 fucking point. And of course I have a Charlotte Hornets +9. And they got to lose by 11. Thanks, guys. Unfucking real, man. You want to talk about a bad fucking beat, man. Two losses in one game. Two losses in one game by 1 point and 2 points. You know, I can understand losing like one of them by half a point, but how the hell do you lose? Like, like how does that happen? So the Brooklyn Nets take care of business and beat up the San Antonio Spurs tonight. Big win for the Nets. Their schedule isn't going to get any easier as the season goes on, Brooklyn. So a nice home win. Pretty much an epic fucking disaster for the San Antonio Spurs this road trip. They went 1-7 out of the 8 games, which is, you know, pretty pathetic. They lost to the New York Knicks along the way. I don't even remember who they beat, to be honest. Who did they win on this road trip? Who did they beat? Oh, they beat Memphis. They played 8 straight games on the road, San Antonio. They lost 7 of them. And the one game that they won 108 to 107. They won by 1 point. Listen, things will turn around for them when they get back home here. They'll rack up a few wins. Look, they get the Detroit Pistons on Wednesday. Oklahoma City on Saturday. That's the TV game on Saturday night. Denver Nuggets, an easy schedule. Atlanta, Milwaukee. But boy, a 1 in motherfucking 7. So we were at the Raptor DeMar night. And it was pricey, but I'm glad that I was there for it. It's, it was a big moment in it was a big, it was a big moment in Raptor history and stuff. It was a pretty emotional night. DeMar going back there, but I don't know how many more Raptor games I'll be seeing this year. Like, honestly, the ticket prices, and I talked about this earlier in the day, it's fucking ridiculous in Toronto now. Now, we'll see what happens. Maybe DeMar DeRozan is just that fucking popular. But I'm very fearful of what the tickets are going to be like in the playoffs for the Raptors. Like, if this is a sign of things to come, like, I'll go to one game or something like that. I'll try to figure it out. But it's almost at a point where it'll be cheaper for me to go see them wherever they're playing on the road. Like, You know, like you remember, like on the Vince, I don't know, maybe it's just like these player nights. Because honestly, the Raptor tickets aren't usually that crazy. Like even in the playoffs last year, they weren't that bad. Like honestly, like even against LeBron James last year, it was a little expensive, but you know, it was like $200, $250 and shit. And that was for pretty good seats. You remember, like me, Taylor, and Sonny sat behind the basket, pretty good seats for the 200 range. You know, same shit. I went to another playoff game, you know, 160, and I had a pretty decent seat. Even I didn't even have like a terrible seat. But you know, I remember the Vince Carter night earlier this year was like $500 a ticket. DeMar DeRozan was insane. Same shit. It was like 500 Canadian and shit. Now the playoffs will be a little cheaper, but the problem is, like, StubHub is in US dollars, so it really tacks on another 25% on the secondary market. You're better off dealing with the people on the street in Toronto than StubHub, to be honest. Yeah, this Raptor team, I got to be honest with you. I mean, you know, we'll see what they do in the playoffs, how far they even go. You know, it's funny. Earlier in the year, I even said, you know, it's going to happen that the Raptors will end up playing the fucking Detroit Pistons and Dwayne Casey in the playoffs. And it looks like the Raptors will end up being the. It looks like the Raptors will end up being the 2 seed. You know, they're 2 games behind Milwaukee, but they're actually like 4 games back in the loss. Now 3 games back in the loss column. I'm not going to say we're conceding the top seed, but I don't think the Raptors care about the number 1 seed, to be honest. The best scenario here, too, like honestly, if you look at the way it is right now, like the one doesn't matter. It's true. It's not the end of the world being the 1 seed. The best case scenario is that the Raptors, you know, are 1 or 2 or whatever, but that Indiana can hang on to this 3 spot. Hell, even if the Raptors were the 3 seed, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like basically Philadelphia and Boston are ranked 4th and 5th right now. They would play each other. All right, they would play each other. So basically, we don't want Philadelphia catching Indiana. And we really don't even want Brooklyn fucking catching Boston, which they won't. They're 5 games back. They're not going to get to the 5 hole. All right, they're 5 games back. They're not going to catch Boston. There's not that many games left. You know what I mean? There's like 20 games left. So to gain 5 games, that's like you need a big swing and shit. So Philadelphia are like a game and a half back of the 3 seed right now. I just think it's better. If it's in everyone in the Eastern Conference's best interest if Philadelphia and Boston play each other in the first round. Think about that. Think about all the fucking work, all the players, and all the money between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, they've both done everything possible to try to win. They're fucking both stacked. Yet one of them would be eliminated in the first round. And, you know, that's like, to me, like, you know, if, you know, the Raptors, I don't want to deal with the Boston Celtics. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, the Celtics will be a pain in the ass for the Raptors in the playoffs. You know, so basically Philadelphia and Boston, that just eliminates one of them. That just eliminates one of them. Raptors would beat the Detroit Pistons, a 2-7 matchup. And then the Raptors would get the winner of the Brooklyn Nets and the Pacers. Now, these are the standings right now, but to be honest, I really don't see them changing all that much. Like, Milwaukee or Toronto will be the 1 seed. You know, Philadelphia or Indiana will be the 3 seed. And I keep waiting for Indiana to stumble, but without Oladipo, but they're not. They're just not. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Like, they're not letting up the Pacers. Hey, see you later, Riggs. Yeah, like I said, I talked about it on Get Off My Lawn today. The Raptors' popularity is a problem. The Raptors' popularity is a problem. What's up, Chris Edge? It's annoying. And, like, you know, it used to be like sort of like the fat cats just sat, like, you know, courtside and stuff, but they're all over. They've taken over the arena now. Not fully, because they're still the upper deck. There's still some cool people and shit, but they've priced the fucking casual fan like they're, you know, way out. And basically they're like, oh, the real fans are outside, right? And that whole Jurassic Park stuff now. And it's true. Like, you know, if like you replace the crazy kids that are outside watching the team in bad weather and shit, you know, the arena would be more an electric place. Like, it affects their home court advantage. That's my problem with it. I don't really, you know, I'm not anti-rich people. If they, you know, whatever, you have enough money to afford a ticket, God bless you. But make some fucking noise when you go. Don't be all disinterested when you're there. Well, I'm rich. I'm not going to get up and yell, or I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, the Raptors' home court doesn't seem, you know, it's not the same. Fuck no. Well, that's not in them rich people. That's not who they are, you know? So I gotta tell you, like, this weekend and today, it's like, holy shit, fuck. Like, nothing is going on really in the sports world. Hey, you notice like the last like week or so, it's just sort of the same story over and over. Antonio Brown, where's he going to end up? Le'Veon Bell, where's he going to end up? LeBron James is unhappy and bitching and throwing his teammates under the bus. Bryce Harper unsigned. You know what I mean? It's all things that have been really talked about a lot. Like, what's there to say about Bryce Harper now at this point? Like, it's literally been like fucking 6 weeks of every day. Oh, Bryce Harper close to, close to, already met with this. And it's like, you know, it's like, holy fuck. Antonio Brown story, same shit. Fuck. It's like, whatever, dude. Which leads us into Robert Kraft. So somehow Robert Kraft's story is now the real big one. As I guess I'm naive a little bit, but I'm surprised that it's gotten this much attention, actually. You know, like, you figure, all right, you know, like I said, so this broke Friday afternoon. It's crazy that, you know, here we are, it's Monday, and, you know, it's in full, there, you know, it's a full steam ahead here with this Robert Kraft. I mean, it's on mainstream news, it's on CNN, like, now Adam Schefter stated that there were bigger names. Adam Schefter said they were bigger names to come yet. There, you know, whatever. Fuck the big names to come. There was some dude from J.P. Morgan and Lehman, whatever. There's a bunch of rich dudes. Fuck, that live in Jupiter, Florida. I actually honestly believe that Robert Kraft probably did it because he thought it was good luck. I'm telling you. He probably did, like, you know what I mean? Like he went there right before he flew to Kansas City for the game. So it must have been like a thing where he's like, oh yeah, we go to the rub and tug on the days of big games. It worked out before. Now, me personally, now listen, we're not going to sit here and start ripping a dude for going to a massage parlor. But he went to the wrong place, evidently, as the place he went to, you know, they were basically, you know, the girls there, they were forced to live in the place. They weren't allowed to leave. They didn't get the money. Their passports were taken, etc. There's a lot of, you know, it wasn't, you know, like they were totally consenting adults in the situation. Now, Robert Kraft probably, you know, was going to a place like that because in his mind, they're not going to know who the fuck he is, right? He's just some creepy old white dude going to a fucking Asian massage parlor. In his mind, you know, he's going to be safe because no one will ever know who he is there. I was thinking about this, though. You imagine, like, being a dude, like, just, like, walking out of that room or something, and Robert Kraft is there? Like, don't tell me that, like, customers in there wouldn't recognize Robert Kraft. Right? Like, don't tell me they wouldn't, like, you'd be like, man, I'm pretty sure I saw Robert Kraft at a massage parlor. I told you, though, man, these strip, yeah, exactly. What up, Fanatical Jim? What up, Brian? See, you extort the hell out of him. I said, listen, just give me tickets. Hey, you got any tickets, Mr. Kraft? Yeah, it's ironic because I just saw an interview with Meek Mill the other day. And during the All-Star shit. And he was actually talking about Robert Kraft. And how Robert Kraft, like, went to see him in jail and you know, signed a letter for him and stuff. You imagine the irony. Now Meek Mill is going to have to testify for Robert Kraft. I don't know, man. Like, why did Hugh Grant do the sleazy hooker on the street in Hollywood when he was with that Elizabeth Hurley chick, right? You know, men are going to do sleazy things. It is what it is. But as I stated this morning, this really is Deflategate once again. As the The New England Patriots just can't fucking stop the deflating balls. First Tom Brady. First Tom Brady, and now first Tom Brady, and now Robert Kraft. Although honestly, it was pretty symbolic, I thought. It was pretty symbolic, I thought, that Tom Brady was with Robert Kraft this morning and took a picture with him and had his arm around him and all that type of stuff. As he's clearly, listen, Tom Brady, at least, you know, is clearly showing that he's got Kraft's back. He's showing that he's got Kraft's back in this. Now, next up, it'll be the National Football League, though. And the players, I think people like Robert Kraft. Like I said, Robert Kraft has been, you know, he's tried to be cool to players in the NFL. Like I said, he tried to help Meek Mill. I noticed, like, you know, some people say, "No, Kraft's all right and shit," but Roger Goodell, there's a conduct policy that you've pinched a lot of players for like stupid shit and weed and stuff like that. So, you know, something's going to have to be done. Now, we all know this. This is the thing with Roger Goodell, too. He never handles these things well. He never handles these things well. Yeah, it's one thing if you look at Robert Kraft. I mean, if you remember, what up, Gino? If you remember after that Kansas City game, he was fucking drunk as hell, fuck. Like, he was drunker than, like, me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was, we're going to the Super Bowl again. Like, Kraft has been getting drunk at these games for years now. He's, you know. But the thought process is he's going to get fined $500,000 by the NFL. And he's going to get suspended for 6 games. Now, he's an owner, so whatever, suspended. But basically, he wouldn't be allowed in, like, the owner's box. Now, it's interesting. This has never happened before, really, right? I mean, Irsay got pulled over with some pills in his car. Now, I think the bigger embarrassment for Kraft will come down the road, in which imagine NFL stadiums now. Right? Like, you know, look, man, like, Bills fans are already throwing fucking dildos at Tom Brady. Like, what are they going to come up with now next year for Kraft? Like, Kraft, like, dude, like, I can't even imagine in the parking lot. Like, you know, Bills fans are creative, all right? They're going to come up with something incredibly sleazy and really, really in bad taste. You know, like I stated, like, you know, like, Bills fans are the ones that have, like, big Tom Brady heads and big fucking dicks and shit, and, you know, and, like, cardboard cutouts and fucking dildos they throw at them. Like I can just imagine, like the fans, like Bills fans will go crazy. So, like during games and shit, like I don't know the chants they're gonna come up with and stuff, but Kraft is gonna have to sort of deal with that stuff. But it's really not that big of a story. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to know though how many people that like have ripped Robert Kraft. How many people that have written articles about Robert Kraft in a negative light have fucking gone to a massage parlor or been to a strip club and things went too far in the back room, etc. You know, honestly, like it's sort of like John Jones in that, like John Jones was almost more likable when you found out he was just a drunk and he was doing blow and stuff. But he's not, because he sort of, he owns it, then he doesn't, and he's sort of all over the place, right? But honestly, you know, like Robert Kraft, and I said this earlier today, actually, that it actually makes him more likable, if anything. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's getting drunk at the games. He's going to these fucking, you know, cheap places and shit. He's going to visit Meek Mill in jail. You know, for a 74-year-old man or whatever he is. You know what I mean? The guy's just trying to have fun with his life on the way out here. Well, that's what I'm saying, Ryan. See, like, you know, if you noticed, I haven't called him out. I mean, that's it. If you've ever been in the back booth of a strip club, I mean, or at least in some places, or a strip club in Quebec or Costa Rica or something. Yeah, see, that's my thing. And I said that on the show, Stooge, today, that who cares about consenting adults, right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Kyle Hamburg. The only thing is, as we stated, is listen, I'm not judging him for the fucking for the massage or the happy ending, all right? The problem is you don't want to be supporting, you know, you don't want to be supporting these, you know, Asian gangsters that have these chicks' passports confiscated and are basically sort of, you know, sex slaves. You know, consenting adults is the key term. You know, which, you know what I mean? Look, there's places in Toronto like that, right? Like the cops actually tell people, like you'll see, like they'll put ads or they'll have a little conference and they'll tell people basically don't go to those places. You know, they're almost telling you go to these other ones. Like they basically stated locally owned. Like a good example is like in Toronto. There's a bunch of like high-end massage parlor places in Toronto where the chicks are like fucking ultra hot and shit, right? But they're local chicks, you know, blonde chicks, brunettes, whatever. It's basically like, you know, a strip club except happy ending places where it's like negotiated. And the cops don't really care about it and shit because it's all Canadian citizens or whatever. Like nobody's being held there against their will. There's no trafficking going on, right? But when you get into like, you know, like I don't know, and even, you know, you get into those other places, you know, the Asian places and shit. it's sort of like a strip. There's a lot of strippers and stuff. They're not being forced to do what they're doing. They're happy and whatever. They're giving people fucking happy endings in the back, and they're making a lot of money and whatever. They're living in nice condos and their life is happy. You know what I mean? They like doing what they're doing. Like you said, consenting adults is different though when, you're different if all right, well, the chick actually sleeps in this room and she's not allowed to leave and she doesn't get the money you gave her. And you know what I mean? To be honest, listen, to be honest, this is what it comes down to once again, as Ryan C. is stating. The simplest way is to legalize it. Once again, you know what I mean? Once again, the simplest way is to legalize it. You'll wipe out this black market and, women will be a lot safer in the process. It's pretty simple. It's like in Amsterdam and in Holland. They have government permits. They're seen by doctors and there's checkups and there's government permits and you have to have a license and you know what I mean? It's a profession. It's a professional business. It's a profession, etc. Well, you legalize it and you'll greatly cut down on the trafficking and the human victims and stuff like that. The LeBron James media love fest continues as instead of calling him out for. So basically, LeBron James, the first player in NBA history to be top 10 in points and assists, which is impressive. We're not going to take it away from him, but the level of dickness in LeBron like this year and over the last couple of days again is, it's really too much, this guy. It never ends. It's basically almost just like a daily fucking thing for this guy now, LeBron James, where he basically just calls everybody out all the time. You know what I mean? He never accepts responsibility for anything. You know what I mean? Instead of saying what he should say is, I got to do better, even though he's playing well and he's putting stats up. I got to do better bringing this team together. Laker fans expected a lot from me when I got here, and I gotta own up to this. Instead, what did he say 10 days ago, last week? If we make the playoffs, we make the playoffs. If we don't, we don't. Then he said after the All-Star game there, oh no, the playoff, the button's been pushed. The playoff intensity is on. They won a game, and then boom, they lose a game or two, and then right away he's back to, well, we have what we have. Now, last night, the other night, or yesterday morning, he really just threw them on the fucking bus. And he stated, well, they've never been there before, so they don't even know how to get there. And it's dude, you're supposed to carry them there. Like I said, this goes back to even in the finals last year with J.R. Smith. When J.R. Smith fucked up at the end of that game, what did LeBron do? He made that big show where he stuck his hands out and fucking freaked out at him. And then even after that, the game went to overtime. And they were all in the huddle and shit. And they were in overtime. All right. And they were at Oakland. You know what I mean? I think that was game 2 in the series. Like, he could have like calmed down and said to everyone, listen, this is great. We're in overtime. Don't worry about it. But instead he pouted. He didn't stand in the huddle with them, and then they got blown out in overtime after. Like, he's got a bad attitude. He doesn't get called out for it, but, you know, LeBron James has a bad fucking attitude. And he's not a team guy. Like, he just isn't. Like, you know, he gets the credit when the team wins, and anytime shit goes wrong, like, I've never seen a star player say, not my fault, as much as him. Like, even if you don't mean it, you're supposed to just say, listen, I'm the star player. And, like, I remember, like, when Vince Carter pulled this bullshit with the Raptors once. Vince Carter didn't play great in a playoff game and shit. And after the game, he said, well, basketball's a team sport. It's not just me, it's a team sport. And Charles Oakley was on the Raptors in those days. And Charles Oakley heard it, and said, yeah, basketball's a team sport, but you make the most money on this team. See, Oakley stated, when you make the most money on the team, there's an expectation that you will be the best player on the team in the playoffs. Kevin Durant said it was toxic. Listen, I've known this for years. You can tell this goes back to like the Miami days and how he handles coaches. And what's crazy, it's like the LeBron effect. It's like the rest of the NBA, like Anthony Davis. Look at Anthony Davis. Who's Anthony Davis's agent? LeBron's guy. LeBron's guy is just an extension of LeBron. Like, LeBron's guy wasn't some big agent before LeBron. LeBron made the agent. You know what I mean? LeBron made the agent. And it's just sort of like I'm not saying he's a selfish guy on the court, because look, he shares the ball. He will, you know what I mean? He's not a ball hog really and stuff. You have to be a specialist though with him, right? He sort of pigeonholes you. But LeBron James has been coddled too much, right? He just has been, ever since high school. You know what I mean? He was the big phenom coming out of high school. He was the phenom coming into the NBA. And every coach pretty much in every organization has bent over and basically just let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. And nobody's ever checked his attitude on anything. He's surrounded by yes men. Like, nobody ever checks him, right? So, and like I said, he's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but when it comes to basketball and his career and the teams that he's on, he's actually hurt himself. Like, he could win more if he wasn't so controlling and wasn't so demanding and didn't throw everyone under the bus all the time. And like people don't want to play with him. You know what I mean? Like, why? He's got to ask himself, why is it that fucking all these players don't want to come here when I'm here? Like, they thought for sure, oh, Paul George now. Like, Paul George's like, no, I'll stay with Russell Westbrook instead. And people, like the media, will criticize Russell Westbrook somehow. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook never fucking left Oklahoma City, puts up massive numbers all the time. You notice he's not like these other guys. People yet the media doesn't like Westbrook because Westbrook isn't nice to the media. So they don't bring up the fact, if you notice, when does Westbrook ever complain? He never bitches about wanting to get out of Oklahoma City. Westbrook never throws his teammates under the bus, even though he could. You know what I mean? He never does. My teammates are great and blah, blah. You know what I mean? He stayed in Oklahoma City. He doesn't chase shit all the time. I think you're right, Brooks. I think Kevin Durant is going to be one of these guys that not everyone's going to want to be around. You know that Kevin Durant is about Kevin Durant. Like, he'll help your team win and shit. He's a great player. And Kevin Durant was one of my favorite players, but his personality has changed like immensely. And Kevin Durant has that sort of entitled thing going about him now. Like, that's just the thing. LeBron, the king. Like, why is he the king? You're not the king. You know what I mean? So, like, he actually thinks he's a king, like the king of the NBA. Like, the rules don't apply. You know what I mean? Like, great example is, why didn't he just tell Cleveland he wasn't going back? You know what I mean? Like, he started that too. Like, that's a new thing now, like the NBA. Like, I was reading the other day that Golden State really don't know what Kevin Durant's going to do. Like, there's been no talk, no whatever, basically. Like, they're going to find out like everyone else will. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Bosh did that. Like, this is the new thing now. Like, players won't even like talk to the team. It just made them rich for the last 5 years. Like, they're just there. It's the Kobe effect. Kobe, you're talking about Kobe. Kobe wanted to win. Like, LeBron is just sort of more about the business side and let me control this. And like, Kobe Bryant didn't bitch. Kobe Bryant would call his teammates out in practice and shit, right? Michael Jordan would do that. He'd eat them up in practice and tell them, hey, listen, fuck, you got to get better and you got to you got to dig down deep and this ain't good enough. That was real. That's leadership, though. That's fine. Kobe Bryant didn't go on the fucking after every loss. And like, what's LeBron going to say tonight? He'll just take some pot shot. Well, Well, I like the Greek. You know what the difference is? The Greek freak. And I'm not saying Anthony Davis has had an easy life, but look, the Greek freak is in Milwaukee and told people, why would I want to leave Milwaukee? I like Milwaukee. And people are like, well, there's better cities in the NBA. He goes, yeah, but I like it here. Right? Remember, even Kevin Durant was meddling. Kevin Durant, oh, you should leave Milwaukee. Fuck, you'll never win in Milwaukee. I like what Damian Lillard said the other day. I like what Damian Lillard said the other day. He basically stated that he's not going to chase. He goes, I don't chase rings. I'm trying to win a ring here in Portland. He basically stated that Portland, you know what I mean? I was brought to Portland to try to win a championship, and I'm going to fucking do it until I don't play anymore. Like, he wasn't like, oh, I want out. Like, you notice there's a pattern, though. Like I said, Anthony Davis is one of LeBron's guys. LeBron's buddy, LeBron's agent, you know what I mean? Like, he's a LeBron guy. So, of course, he quits on the team. I want out. Yeah, Dallas. Hey, listen, and Dirk Nowitzki should have, Mark Cuban sort of wasted the last few years of Dirk's career, in my opinion. But doesn't look like we're going to hit this fucking doesn't look like we're going to get this total here in this K-State game. Fucking pisses me off. I like Kansas here, too. Fuck, man. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. K-State just can't hit a shot tonight. They're down by 13 with about 3 minutes left. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what LeBron's comments are after this game. Pretty much, everything that I said about this, people are now stating. There's a lot of people that are now sort of former players and stuff, and executives basically. Look, I saw Baron Davis the other day saying the same thing, saying LeBron James and Magic Johnson. Like, and that's another thing too. Like, Magic is really fucking this up. Like, for the love of God, like, why did you think about it? Like, why did they try to pull that coup? That's what it was. You tried to steal a player from another team mid-season, LeBron James tampering with your agent, with Anthony Davis, and what happened? You didn't get Anthony Davis. You alienated your entire team. And New Orleans are like, over our dead bodies. We're going to trade him anywhere besides to you, LeBron James, since this is all your fault. Right? Like, instead of just fucking saying, listen, he's got a year and a half left on his contract. He's still young. Chill out, LeBron. We're going to get him next year. All right. Let's just worry about now. We're going to get AD next year for sure. He's our agent. He's our guy. We're going to get him. No. And Anthony Davis isn't a bad kid. He tries to pull this fucking power play with them. It's just a shit show. Honestly, if there's one thing about the NBA, like the players need to chill the fuck out. They got to stop. Like, they've got to stop. Like, the players have to stop this full, like, baby fucking. Like, look at Anthony Davis. The guy cries about wanting to play for a winner, and then he's willing to go to the Knicks after. So it's just you want to leave New Orleans. But you know what, buddy? You have a fucking contract. You signed a contract. Like, are you unhappy with the money that they paid you suddenly? I want to play for a winner. Well, if you were so great, then fucking go win. Fuck. Then win, like on the team that you're on right now. Kansas is going to cover. Those ranches in Vegas and shit, they're not even in Vegas. They're a big ripoff. It's like $1,000 and stuff. They don't do well. They do okay, you know, some people, but I've never been inclined to fucking drive fucking 3 hours to get shaken down by some chick at the fucking Mustang Ranch. All right, game's over. 64-49. Man, I don't think Bill Self and Weber like each other very much. Like, for real. As the end of the game, a lot of times these rival coaches like will talk for a second. Hey, good job, you know, whatever. They'll have respect. But these two after, it was just a quick fake ass handshake and they moved on. It was a shitty game, though. Like I said, college basketball is not very good this year. The product, I don't find the product to be very entertaining. Like when you compare, look, Kansas State just scored 49 points in 40 minutes, guys. Like they essentially scored like a little more than 1 point a fucking minute, man. Like that's beyond pathetic. You know, I get it. You know, Kansas played defense and shit, but really? And the crazy thing is they've done everything possible in college basketball to make it like fucking offensively friendly. Like they call everything's a foul. The 3-point line is basically where the free throw line is at. Like the 3-point line is too close. They call everything, and these kids still can't score. It's caught up. There's too many teams. There really is. There's just too many fucking teams. There's too many conferences. There's too many schools. There's too many D1 teams now and shit. And, you know, there's not enough great players to go around. And the coaching as well. I've said this a lot. Like these coaches, they're not coaching really to make the players better, right? They're just coaching to win. So like Bill Self doesn't give a shit if he only scores 64 points, man. The guy makes fucking $6 million a year. And you know what I mean? He's just trying to grind out W's. He doesn't care about the entertainment factor of it. Holy fuck, Trae Young goes off for 36 points. You know, all the talk about Doncic and shit, you got to give credit, man. Trae Young's been good. Like Trae Young's been real good. Like Doncic is a stud and stuff, but Trae Young has delivered, like for Atlanta. Like he's put up some pretty big ass numbers for a rookie and stuff. Who knows, Kyle? Maybe in a couple of years, the Atlanta Hawks will be a decent team again. They're going to have top draft picks for the next couple of years. And, you know, give him credit. Trae Young's a good pick. So if they get the next one right again, you know, they could have something going here. Like that's, you know, if you're a bad NBA team, you need to knock it out of the park with your draft picks a couple of years in a row here. You know what I mean? You get like 1 or 2 real studs, and you need to get lucky with a second rounder and shit. You know, look at Golden State. Basically, like they did it in one fucking draft, essentially. You know, what was Curry, like 7th overall? Klay Thompson was like 22nd or 23rd, and then boom, Draymond Green in the second round. You know, and they got this little, you know, look at the Raptors with Siakam, second rounder. Nobody ever, what's up, Sinbad? nobody ever fucking really talks about second round picks in the NBA, but the good teams are the ones that like take advantage of that. Like look at Golden State and shit. Like they always find a good kid in like, 48th overall or whatever. Rockets, here's his fucking streak here. It's 32 straight games for 30 points. It is impressive. All right, comparing the streak. Harden has averaged 41 points a game. Holy shit. ESPN's putting up the stats right now, but they're not leaving them up long enough to read. The graphic department's screwing up, sloppy. It's going around the business today. Today's one of these days where it's just like we're stuck in the mud, This might be the best show of the day that we did. It's just, it happens every once in a while. When you're on every day and shit. And like I said, like we're at the time of the year, man. It's been one of these, the last 3 days in the sports world, it's been nothing. You hit refresh. There's like, who gives a shit about Robert Kraft? Like, the conference tournaments are around the corner, and we'll get into betting mode for a little while through the tournament and stuff. I'm sure my enthusiasm for March Madness will pick up a bit, I guess. I've been underwhelmed by college basketball this year. Yeah, at the tournament, the tournament's the tournament every year. It's the same crap. There'll be a bunch of buzzer beaters and it's just, we're in the dog days right now. It's that we got through the Super Bowl all right. Look, the Super Bowl was February 3rd, actually. And here we are now. We're already at the end of February. So February actually went by pretty quickly. There's just, we just have to get through these couple of days here. Shit will start to break. We got the combine at the end of the week. But it's sort of the calm, it's the calm before the storm with everything. NBA's, it's sort of, some teams are balls out. Some other teams are like, whatever, fuck, just bring the playoffs on. The NHL, the NHL is pretty much the most consistent league out of all the leagues, to be honest. It really is the most consistent league. Like the NFL, pretty much, the NHL on a nightly basis is pretty much the same. Like players, teams really don't mail it in the NHL too often. It's a pretty competitive league on a nightly basis all the way through. The season's just a grind. It's just long. Too early for mock drafts. We got the combine this week. And one thing coming up this week, actually, will be the combine bets. The combine bets, and I'm sure books will start to post more and more of them as the week goes on here. We've got some odds. There's a few things. I haven't seen the player props yet, though. They're all pretty generic right now. Talked about them this morning a little bit. I talked about it being free money with Kyler Murray being under 5'10". Earlier in the day, I said it was free money. It was minus 450. Now it's minus 600. Fastest 40-yard dash at the combine, 4.29 seconds. I don't think anybody will run that fast, personally. There was a dude on Oklahoma that was a real burner, but he's not here. Kyler Murray's fast, but he's not this fast. And Kyler Murray might be one of the fastest guys at the combine, actually. And I was reading Kyler Murray's fastest 40 is like 4.38, which is pretty fast. John Ross set the record at the NFL Combine. John Ross set the record with the 4.22. And to put it in context, at Super Bowl week there at the NFL Fan Fest, Usain Bolt ran a 4.22 with like his clothes on and shit, which is pretty fucking insane. Like 4.22 is blazing fast. Like John Ross is blazing fast. And put it on kind of like Bolt just showed up and ran and did it and then did a 4.22 like casually. And the word is too, Kyler Murray put on like 16 pounds. He weighs 206 pounds going into the combine right now, which I got to believe will slow him down a bit. I don't think bulking up, like adding the 16 pounds of muscle here is going to make him faster. Now, I'm not saying it's going to slow him down a huge amount, but the other ones I think we're going to get there, actually. Like the highest vertical jump. This one was interesting, which is strange. I don't really know the correlation here. I don't know why. But the over-under for the vertical jump is 43.5 inches, okay? What's strange about this is there's been a lot of dudes that have like done 46 inches, 45 inches, like Cameron Wake, 45 inches. Like I said, there's been a few dudes that have like shattered this 43.5. Yeah, what's strange is most of them were like 10 years ago and stuff. It's very, very bizarre. Like the vertical jump scores, and we went over this in the morning show today. The vertical jump scores have all, they've sort of declined over the years. It's very strange. Like I don't really understand why. Like, what's the deal? Why are players like jumping like less high now suddenly? It's like, why? I don't know. But I still think that out of everyone at the fucking combine, somebody will jump higher than 43.5 inches. Yeah, that's a good point, Drew. I've been saying that for years. Guys in the NFL are just dudes that weren't good enough to be in the NBA. That's just almost a fact. Like, yeah, it's crazy though. Like most of the high scores were like from years ago. But I still think somebody in the draft will be able to go over 43.5. It's not that high. It's a doable bet here, this one. There's another wager here. Most bench presses at the NFL Combine. Over under 41.5. This one is pretty much like, seems to be the standard here, like 41 to 43 type thing. I'm leaning with the over here too. There's a ton of big defensive dudes in this year's draft, like big, those big linemen, the kid from Alabama, the guy that's supposed to go first overall, the kid from Houston, what's his name? Ed Oliver is a big kid. One of these dudes is going to crush it fucking, the bench press. 41.5 reps. I'll go over the number. I say over, Brooks. as look, somebody, 41 and a half is kind of, look, last year, Harrison Phillips. So Harrison Phillips, defensive tackle out of Stanford. He did 42. But once again, yeah, it's in past years, guys were bigger. Stephen Paella did 49 in 2011. Mitch Petrus did 45 in 2010. Jeff Owens, 44, 2010. Terry Poe, 44, 2012. Russell Bodine, 42, 2014. Harris Phillips, 42 last year. The vertical jump is the way to go here. But once again, a lot of these are like from yesteryear. Chris Conley did it, wide receiver 2015, 45 inches. Donald Washington, 45. That was in 2009. Byron Jones pretty much killed the combine. Like if you look at I'm looking at all these combine average scores over the years, and Byron Jones's name comes up everywhere. Like he crushed the combine. Fuck. Like his vertical was 44 and a half. And his broad jump was 12 feet 3 inches. He did 12.3. In 2017, a kid did 11.9. And the bet this year is 11 and a half. This is where you got to do your research, though. Right? Like if you just start punching around, like some of this stuff is out there. Like I said, I was interested in Kyler Murray, so I just started studying. I started looking up Kyler Murray 40 times, and boom, like a bunch of them came up. Well, specifically, they had a race at Oklahoma before the year started. For fun, they clocked everyone on the field as a race and shit. And Murray was 4.38. They claim that Bo Jackson ran a 4.12 at the combine in 1986. I don't believe it. They don't have documentation. Like they can't prove that Bo. They said that he did, Bo Jackson. There was a 4.12, but they can't prove it. Deion Sanders, they can prove he ran a 4.22 actually in 1989. These bets are interesting if you put the work in and you start poking around. Like this is the type of shit where, on these like Saturday afternoons when you're watching when you're watching college football and shit, and they'll show you, oh, look, this week this kid did this in practice or in the weight room and shit. They're always showing clips like that, right? You just have to find it. Like, we'll go over some of these top players and shit. Let's see. All right. Like Ed Oliver, bench press. See what pops up. All right. So here it is. Boom. I just found a workout video. (6'3", 290 pounds. ESPN's Todd McShay says he should be the first overall pick in the draft. All right, he can broad jump 10 feet 1 inches. He squats 650 pounds, bench press 405, 385 power clean. Dude's a serious athlete. I'm fucking seeing like him here. Like NFL guys are like, holy shit! Like look at this guy. Like basically, that he's the complete package. That he does it all. He's fast. He's fucking nimble. He's powerful. Yeah, that's a good point. Instagram, Brooks. Because like you said, yeah, they're all doing workout videos and shit, right? NFL. All right, let's see. All right, so yeah, Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, bench press. All right, let's see. See, when you punch this shit in, most of it just comes up, though. Quinnen Williams, combine, blah, blah. He's going to have to do the bench press. Yeah, we know he has to do the fucking bench press. Man, there's some good defensive players in the fucking draft this year. Like, you got Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, Ed Oliver. That Josh Allen kid from Kentucky's a monster. He's a load to deal with. This is one of these years, and they always have this prop up for drafts, like over under defensive players. Like, they'll have like, all right, over under 16 defensive players in the first half, or whatever it is. This year it's going to be over. Like, there are no offensive players getting drafted, essentially. There'll be a few quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, what wide receiver are you hearing that, oh, yeah, like every team's jumping through, everyone wants to get this guy? Seriously, like, if you look at most mock drafts, it's fucking insane, man. It's like defense, and there's just so many good defensive players. Like Nick Bosa is a stud. Josh Allen is a stud. Quinnen Williams is a stud. Brian Burns, these scouts love, out of Florida State. Rashawn Gary, my guy out of Michigan. The Farrell kid on Clemson, he's a top 10 pick. Devin White, linebacker, LSU. People think he's a top 10 pick. The edge rusher from Florida there, Ja'Kai Polite. You got Ed Oliver. You know what I mean? Like, it goes on and on. Deontay Thompson, the safety on Alabama. Greedy Williams, the cornerback out of LSU. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, the top 10 fucking picks, man, it might be like, seriously, like 8 to 9 defensive guys with the first top 10 picks of the draft. NFL teams really aren't like, oh, we need a wide receiver, so we're going to take him. Like, it all goes on grade, right? They all have grades on these players, and the grades are pretty much the same in all the rooms. So they're not going to be able to pass up on it. Somebody will take Kyler Murray. Somebody will take Haskins. But for the most part, this is going to be heavy-ass motherfucking this is going to be it's going to be heavy defensive draft, this draft. Late night tonight, actually, too. Like I said, man. There's not even any. What the hell's that noise? My computer's fucking. My computer's overheating. Like even late night stuff. Like, well, what's going on here? You know what I mean? There's no late night games here. You got the Mavericks and the Clippers. Fuck. Yeah, it's true. You got the Mavericks and the Clippers, so I guess there's something. I actually like the Mavericks here, but I liked it better when we were getting 5 points earlier in the day as opposed to 3. Right now it is 5.5 in game if you want to jump in on it. Well, I don't know if you guys, every time, which one of you guys bets in Bookmaker? Because I'm looking at Bookmaker right now, and all the NFL Combine props are lighting up. Like they're going all yellow and shit. The lines just moved on them. Somebody just bet on under 41.5. Because just when we were talking about this a few minutes ago, over 41.5 reps, over 41.5 reps was plus 100. Now it's plus 107. Maybe Brooks. Brooks was the one who was under. As you stated, this is the type of thing where if you do your research and you really poke around, you put a few hours in online, you'll be able to come up with a couple of numbers. Yeah, settle down, Lisa. Yeah, apathetic bystander. People are getting their early bets in on betting reps. Yeah, that's what it's come to at this time of the year. That's what it comes to at this time of the year. We're discussing we're discussing kids fucking that we don't know vertical jumps. There'll be more released too. There'll be more to come. Like I said, it's only Monday, right? So the odds makers are putting this shit together right now. Like I said, Bookmaker released a few props up on the board here, but just sort of generic ones. They're going to have the full slate of they'll have the full slate of all the players. They'll be over under for Kyler Murray and Greedy Williams and everyone, for the 40s and stuff. I do like listen, the NFL Combine is a spectacle. And this year it's actually on ABC for a couple of hours. So they're really jacking it up. So Saturday afternoon, it gets some ABC coverage. Not just on the NFL Network or ESPN or whatever, which will that'll highlight the betting aspect of it. I do like seeing the quarterback stuff though. You get a chance to see the quarterbacks throw one after another, actually, which, that's the thing. It's one thing, to watch game tape, but their offenses are all tailor-made around them, right? Like in the NFL, like basically every play is sort of like a crisis. Like if nothing ever went wrong, like a lot of guys would be good quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's basically, it's crisis management on every play. Like you speak to Russell Wilson or Tom Brady, etc. Like it's all about like reacting at the moment, at that second, because shit's not going to be there the way you wanted it to be. How do you adapt, right, on the fly? So I like to see that basically with these guys at the combine, where you'll see. I mean, some guys the ball will just float on them, or they're throwing a wide open one. There's no DBs; they just have a guy running and shit, right? But I tell you, the the draft is overrated in a sense. Now, it's not overrated. It's not overrated. You know, like basically Super Bowls are won from the third round up. And we in the media and as fans, we don't know like the fourth and fifth round picks. You know what I mean? Like no one knows these guys, right? Like who's going to tell me who like the 38th best fucking cornerback ranked is, you know? We all focus on these top, you know, first round picks and shit. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, these stud defensive players. Yet it's not hard, like for these teams. Like you can't screw it up. Like I just rattled off all these great defensive players. So whatever, if you're drafting fifth or sixth or something, and you know what I mean. All right, that team took Gary. That team took this guy. All right, we'll take Oliver. He's still left. Like it's hard to screw up a first round pick in the NFL. I mean, some teams will manage to do it somehow. Fuck, you know, aka the Buffalo Bills. But basically, like the skill of it. So what I'm saying is we'll all spend all this time talking about this guy and that guy. And the fact of the matter is, and we've said this before, you look at recent Super Bowls, like the Eagles and the Patriots, basically it was nuts. Fuck. It was like 75% of the players were like third to sixth round picks. Even this past year, the Patriots, once again, like the Patriots aren't built on like these first round picks and shit. You know, like number one picks overall. How many Super Bowls have they won, right? Quarterbacks. And, you know, we've talked about it. USC quarterbacks, like high profile guys, often they don't lead to championships. It's the unheralded dudes we never heard of that are getting drafted in the fourth and fucking fifth round that turn out to be good players that help teams win. Yeah, like the defensive line guys, Gino, you're right. But this year, people know it. That's why all these top picks are going to be defensive guys. All right, so we're on the Mavericks here. We just jumped in. We grabbed it at plus 5.5 in game. They're down 55-50. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up in a few minutes here. But we should know about Bryce Harper, too. I think Bryce Harper, listen, it's pretty clear he doesn't want to sign with Philadelphia. All right, Philadelphia is offering him the most money, the longest term and all this. But I think he realizes that, you know what? I could take the money right now, but I'm probably going to be unhappy in Philadelphia down the road. The guy's from Las Vegas, fuck. You know, he's a West Coast dude. He was in Washington before. The Dodgers are the best fit for him. And as a Dodger fan, like I said earlier, Magic Johnson should stop fucking tampering with every NBA team and fucking sign some players in Los Angeles. This baseball hoarding money bullshit is starting to get a little bit much. Like the Dodgers are acting like they're broke or something. Fuck. Just fucking pay him, fuck. You haven't won a World Series since fucking Oral Hershiser, man. It was 1988, man. It's a long time ago. Right? Like you've got the money. You've got one of the best players that's available. He's 26 years old. I'm telling you, man, this fucking strike thing and lockout is affecting this stuff. Teams don't want to be on the hook for this money going into this strike. They don't want to owe the money coming out of it. They don't want to owe the money coming out of it. That's why, like the Hicks dude today on the Yankees took the money, and the Yankees gave him the money, $70 million. It's a lot of money, but it isn't really in baseball terms. So he's set up. He doesn't have to worry about the shit that's going to be coming up right now. He got his money. But like these mega deals and shit, you know, teams they're not going to sign deals next year either. So by next year, players are going to be raging about this. They're already pissed off this year. Like baseball really can't really get off to a worse start. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. Like I don't really know what the hell Manfred's doing right now. I see today that baseball actually sent a cease and desist letter to the state of Nevada telling them to stop taking action on preseason baseball games for one reason or another. Which really, makes fucking zero motherfucking sense. Like I don't so I don't understand. So baseball, your ratings are down, your Q numbers are down, your brand rating is down. You're clearly and I don't even think the sky is falling on baseball, but you guys clearly do because you're fucking panicking every fucking day. You're coming up with stupid pitch clock rules and this, and let's put a runner here, and let's do this, and let's fucking shorten the mound, and let's do a designated hitter, and let's do you got a million stupid rule changes in the works and most of them are stupid that won't bring any new fans to the game anyways, and it'll just destroy the fabric of the game. Like Max Scherzer's a pretty calm guy and a great pitcher. And even Scherzer spoke out today or yesterday and said, some of these rules are fucking ridiculous. And he goes, I'm not going to accept this. Like he said, as a player, I'm not putting my name on these rules. He basically said, I'll be voting against all this shit. And nothing, the season's about to start and they can't even agree on the rules of the fucking game. And they want people to watch baseball, yet they won't sign their star players. Teams are basically all in screw this, we're not signing anybody mode. There's a lot of good players out there still besides just Harper. Like I said, Dallas Keuchel doesn't have a job now. How's that possible? Fucking left-handed pitchers, shitty left-handed pitchers get a ton of money in baseball. There's something going on. And somehow Manfred thinks the solution to this is to tell Vegas to stop taking bets. I don't know what his fucking motive for this is. I don't know what his fucking motive is, but he's it's not gonna. Like I said, I'm gonna look into this tonight. I'm gonna look into this tonight. I want to dig down deeper and find out what's their motive to this. Like, what's their motive? Why? Why did they? Why would baseball like care that Vegas, and why do they think that Vegas? Basically, I guess the Nevada Gaming Commission is going to say like no. All right, so boom, seek and you shall receive. Here's Major League. Here's the response from LB why they asked Nevada to take spring training games off the board. Spring training games are exhibition contests, which are primarily the focus of clubs and players to prepare for the coming season rather than win games and perform maximum effort on every single play. These games are not conclusive to betting and carry heightened integrity risks. States should not permit bookmakers to offer bets on them. Limited and historically in-person betting on spring training is one state did not pose nearly the same integrity risk widespread on sports spring training in multiple states. Yeah, these aren't stocks for fuck's sakes. Like, people that are betting on spring training baseball know what the fuck they're getting themselves into. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is something like the NFL. Like, imagine the NFL. Don't bet on preseason games because they're not real games. So basically, they're telling you have zero reason to watch spring training baseball games. It's just like, it's a weird, like, it's just a weird hill, like, to die on here. You know what I mean? As Major League Baseball submitted a request to the Nevada Gaming Control to prohibit betting on spring training games. There's been no public response, but a source, and David Purdue's a good guy, ESPN, he's all over the shit. The source indicates Gaming Control will decline the request. Here's another thing, baseball. Like, why didn't you think of this, like, I don't know, like last month before it started and quietly just go to them and say, listen, like, we got a problem here. We don't like this. You don't control this, though. Like, I don't know, like, why, like, these sports leagues think that, like, sports books should really give a shit what they fucking think, to be honest. Like, they don't need your permission. Like, but anyways. We appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Once again, thanks to everybody for showing up over the weekend. Great times. We look forward to seeing you again. And looks like our next trip will be to Atlantic City, although a month from now feels like it's years away. Dude, Drew, I'm telling you, man, look, I'm a degenerate, and even I don't bet on this shit. Like, spring training baseball, it doesn't matter whether you're in the damn room. I bet you if you asked any player that was playing in a spring training game who's going to win, they'd tell you, oh, fuck, you're crazy to bet on this. Like baseball is right. Spring training games are whacked out, but anybody that bets on this knows this, right? Like, I don't know. Baseball's got a lot of problems. It seems like this is kind of like would be like the least of their issues. Secondly, nobody even fucking bets on spring training baseball. They've been playing spring training games for a couple of days. How many people have you seen on Twitter blowing up fucking baseball scores and shit? Besides Troy Tulowitzki today, which we'll get to tomorrow. I didn't really realize what a dick he was about him hitting a stupid home run in a spring training game. But hey, if that's the biggest home run of your life, then hey, good for you, buddy. So that is, I say that every year, Stooch. That's a good point, actually. We'll keep our eye on that. Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with spring training. Every year, if there's like, once we'll notice a team's like 4-0 or something, we'll just ride them. Like every fucking year in spring training, there's a team that goes like 14-2 or something. And it has zero correlation on what's going to happen in the regular season. All right, so we appreciate everybody tuning in. We're on the Mavericks here in the second half, +5.5. Well, in game +5.5. You guys rock. Thanks for the support. Jeff Feinberg steps up and in. Tomorrow night, we'll have some more NFL props to bang on as well. Other than that, you're on your own later. Thanks, guys.